Welcome to the Volunteer Intake Processing Center Introductory Information Session. This national program is often referred to as the VIPC. This presentation will provide you with basic information about the VIPC and is the first step in preparing you for your role as a VIPC team member. Today we will review the VIPC vision, how we are structured, your role as a VIPC intake team member, how we communicate with each other, a review of the VIPC GroupShare, how to log VIPC hours, future VIPC opportunities, and your next step, registering for the VIPC Basic training. The VIPC vision states that the VIPC mobilizes the power of volunteers to quickly and efficiently guide applicants through their basic intake application steps. The VIPC team partners with divisional and regional teams to contribute to a positive volunteer experience, both in steady state and during disasters. The VIPC is part of the National Headquarters Volunteer Services Recruitment and Intake Team. Leading the recruitment and intake team is Director Susie Spartano. VIPC program managers support all VIPC volunteer positions and serve as the point of contact for divisional volunteer services teams. Intake leaders are volunteers that will be your direct supervisor. Your intake leader will be the person you communicate with the most. They will be there to support you in your role as an intake team member. As a member of the VIPC intake team, you are part of a team of over 250 volunteers from across the country. The VIPC intake member team is responsible for the day-to-day activities of processing prospective volunteer applications and providing outstanding customer service. During the VIPC Basic training, you will learn the first steps in how to process these applications. The VIPC program has a global approach to the intake process. VIPC volunteers access the global intake queue through Volunteer Connection. While working in the GI queue, VIPC intake volunteers can see all prospective volunteer applications and their progress towards completion. The VIPC program managers are uniquely positioned to support this global approach while also being the point of contact for their divisions. Listed on this slide are the VIPC program managers, their contact information, and time zone. The VIPC program managers are a resource available to you to answer any questions or concerns. Both your intake leader and your program manager were copied on your introductory email. Here are the 5 divisions for the American Red Cross. Celisa is the point of contact for the North Central Division. Tara is the point of contact for the Central Atlantic and Northeast Divisions. And Katie is the point of contact for the Southeast and Caribbean, Southwest and Rocky Mountains, and the Pacific Divisions. As a member of the VIPC, you will assist new applicants with their volunteer application. You will ensure timely processing and provide excellent customer service. You will follow the standardized job aids and training using standardized email and phone script templates. You will work within Volunteer Connection and the Global Intake Queue enterprise-wide. There are several expectations in order to maintain an active status as a VIPC intake team member. Please share your virtual volunteer schedule with your intake leader. We ask that you work a minimum of 2 hours each week. Please notify your supervisor when you are not able to work your minimum required weekly hours for an extended period. Communication is key for our virtual team and the success of our program. Our global group share is a mini website located within Volunteer Connection. Town halls provide an opportunity to learn about VIPC program updates, hear from other intake team members, and share your volunteer experience. The monthly VIPC newsletter provides program information, reminders of process guidance, and the opportunity to celebrate our team members. Please ensure your email and volunteer connection is up to date so you can receive all VIPC communications. The VIPC Global Group Share is located within Volunteer Connection. To access the VIPC Global Group Share, log into Volunteer Connection with your username and password. At the top of the page, you will click the My Groups tab, and in the drop-down, select the Volunteer Intake Processing VIP Center. This is the VIPC GroupShare homepage where you will find resource materials, a directory of other VIPC volunteers, and an active discussion board where our volunteers share their questions and feedback. We encourage you to subscribe to nightly updates. To subscribe, you will click the link, click here to subscribe to nightly updates. Once subscribed, you will receive an email each morning listing any new postings. There are a list of tabs to help you locate different parts of the group share. We have a very active discussion board. This is a forum to ask questions about your work as an intake team member. To post a question on the discussion board, after clicking the Discuss tab, you will find at the bottom of the page an Add New button. Click the Add New button and the system will show you a box to type your question. You will type a title to your post in the top box. The title should reflect what your question is about. In the larger box, you will type your question. Once complete, click the Submit button, adding your question to the discussion board list. The Files tab is where you will find job aids and resources to support you in your role as an intake team member. After you've completed your work in the Global Intake Queue, it is important to submit your hours in Volunteer Connection. By logging your hours, the VIPC program managers can ensure that we are staffed appropriately to process new applications. On your homepage in Volunteer Connection, click Add Hours. In the date box, you will enter the date that you worked with the VIPC. Enter the hours worked for the date listed. Under the activity name, you can specify the work that was done. Any non-VIPC hours should be logged separately under a different position. All VIPC hours are logged as worked. Under position, be sure to select your VIPC position. Click Submit Hours or Submit and add another. After you've gained some experience as a VIPC intake team member, there are several additional opportunities available to you. The VIPC Advanced Intake team members are volunteers that process advanced intake actions, which include verifying identification and deactivating accounts that are not completed their basic steps in the allotted time. The Virtual Volunteer Intake Center, or Virtual VIC, is a team of volunteers focused on applications for disaster-affected areas. The helpline volunteers help support our toll-free number, which is a resource for prospective volunteers. The VIPC referral team welcomes and assigns new intake team members. The VIPC facilitator presents our basic and advanced training to our new team members. For each of the additional opportunities, you will need the recommendation of your intake leader or program manager. Your next step is to register for and attend the VIPC Basic Intake training. After you've completed the Basic Intake training, you should follow up with your intake leader. 24 hours after you receive the VIPC position, you will be able to see the VIPC training calendar. Under My Shifts on your homepage, select VIPC Training Calendar. When the calendar opens, select a date and time that fits your schedule to register and attend the VIPC Basic Training. Thank you for your time and attention, and welcome to the American Red Cross and the VIPC team.